Okay, well, hi folks. This is take two for us. You're only gonna hear take one, which is this one. But hi, my name's Nikki, and I'm one half of this busted ass group. This is busted ass podcast that y'all are listening to today. Recording live from our phones because technical difficulties suck. And that's Minder. Hi, Minder.
Hi, it is me. Yes, so first my internet was being ass, and then her internet was being ass, and then we thought my microphone was being ass, and so we're like, no, we just need to not record video and it'll be fine. So,
Yeah. So if audio quality sounds like shit, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do about it. But anyway, this is the Neurodivergent Convergent podcast where we talk about neurodivergent shit and our experience with it. Welcome. If this is your first episode, I'm sorry. If this isn't, welcome back. You already know what the fuck the deal is over here. So y'all aren't even surprised. It's just one shit show after the other. So welcome to it. We're here. It's happening. Because we gotta get a fucking episode out. Because we don't have no more backups. They're all gone.
yep,
This is the
we
closest.
officially caught up.
Oh, yawn counter. Start it. Start the yawn counter. That was number one.
Start the drinking game.
No, God, please don't. You'll die. You'll die.
Liver poisoning.
Liver poisoning. So anyway, what the fuck was I saying? Hi, welcome. Is that what we were saying?
Yes, and then technology and just yep. There's just a lot of problems the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of problems.
I mean, this is all about being neurodivergent. Wow, words. See,
Wow.
Neurodivergent. So this is all about being neurodivergent. And that's including difficulties with just life in general. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be us if it was easy. So there's that. Anyway, hi. How are you? Like we were just talking for fucking 30 minutes trying to get this shit together. I'm not even cutting that out. I don't even care. How was your fucking week since last week? You recovered?
Yep.
Basically. Number 2. Oh Jesus fuck. Okay, this is gonna be a long goddamn episode if we keep this up.
Okay. So it's been about a week and a half since we last recorded, and it's been a week since the wedding. Week and a half since the wedding. And so I started my new job, my new position, which has been great, pretty chill until my boss comes back and teaches me more things. But basically, I've been coming home from work and just vegetating, like just not doing anything, because I don't have the mental capacity to do anything else. How about you?
Fucking same, pal. I did manage this last weekend to put together Nick's room. We got him a bunch of new stuff for his room for his birthday, a new bed. It's a gaming bed of all things. It's got a TV mount on the footboard, which is fucking cool. It's really cool. And then we got his desk put together and his gaming chair, his room all moved around, got his new dressers put in. So he's all set up. His room looks a lot bigger now. Kid's got a lot more space in there. I had these big ass bunk beds before. So this is working out. Good goddamn. Why? I won't yawn all fucking day. And then as soon as I get on a call to record something, I will yawn 35,000 fucking times. I hate it. Why? Why does this happen to me? Make it fucking stop. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to get through a fucking sentence without fucking yawning. This is annoying. Anyway, I digress. I've been trying to recover and also I had to put a room together and I can't put a sentence together. So there's that. That's it. It's really all my life has been. I went back to work and then, yeah, this is where we are. Hi, we're here. That's my recap. It's been a very fucking dull week. And that's exactly what I needed. Was a very fucking dull week.
Like, I literally just did random stuff at work, helped another boss with her ancestry because she really wants to know how this one guy connects to her. That's basically my week. Or my actual boss comes back next week, and then I'll learn more stuff. And since then, I've had like managers asking me questions, and I basically do a double take of, are you sure you don't want an adultier adult? Because I don't know if I'm qualified to answer this question. Like, I can't make decisions for you.
Oh my God, I love that. Do you want an adultier adult? I love
Uh,
that so much. I want an adultier adult. Can I have an adultier adult, please?
like, I need an adult to help me adult, please.
For reals.
I need a
Make,
babysitter.
yeah, for reals. Can we just find me a babysitter? Because I know can adult well either. So there's that.
This life shit is for the birds.
Agreed. Anyway, let's get this shit started. Okay? Let's just fucking
Okay.
make it happen. Because God only knows what this is gonna fucking degrade to by the time we're done. So I'm reading AI story today.
Yes.
So let's do it. Our keywords, as my co-host added, because I did not last week, and it fucked her over. So she was nice to me and put them in here. Keywords. Keywords are emotional, processing, delayed, Nikki, and Amanda, because leaving our names in here gives us the best stories. So we're just going to keep that. We're always going to be in here. It's going to be fun. Okay, cool. Her memory analysis had triggered a very weak emotional memory in Amanda, as she herself had learned long ago. Emotional memories were hard to dig up and process. She doubted Amanda would do anything to dig up that emotional memory, however. It was too emotionally overwhelming for Amanda to even consider. Dear God, do not start a drinking game for how many times this AI story says emotional. You will fucking be deceased in about 35 seconds. Don't unalive yourself, okay? Don't. I digress. Nikki wondered if Amanda could emotionally process memories from 2 hours ago. What else could she possibly, or could she physically process? Her current emotional mood was simple, not emotional. Nikki hoped. What? Nikki hoped to avoid emotional problems like Amanda.
That's me, emotional problem.
The last time Amanda had been upset about something, she was thrown out of her own home a year ago. Oh shit. I'm gonna read that one more time. The last time Amanda had been upset about something was when she was thrown out of her home a year ago. The emotional problem was emotional.
That's just my new name, emotional problem.
What made it more complex was that Amanda could not even look at her. She wanted to confront her, but she was not yet able to do that. Who is her? What are you confronting?
You? I don't know.
I don't. Jesus Christ. She did not know what to do, or even if Amanda was even in a receptive mood. So far, Amanda had not emotionally expressed anything to her at all. Nikki was left processing the emotional memory without a single trace of emotional expression. So many emotions.
But not emotional at the same time.
As she processed, she suddenly felt a panic, as her processing was suddenly too much to deal with. She had emotionally overloaded herself. She could not handle another moment of processing or thinking. She mentally fell back into her emotional self. What the fuck?
Oh boy. It was worse. It was worse before. I had to edit it down. So, because it kept just saying over and over again the same like 2 sentences. So I'm like, okay. And it talked about Jeremy. I'm like, no, we don't give a fuck about Jeremy. Let's delete Jeremy out of
there. Who the fuck is Jeremy?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jeremy. This is about us, not you.
Yeah. We're the main characters, okay?
Fuck you, Jeremy.
I'm crying. Oh man.
Same. Oh,
that's how
shit.
emotional I am.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. So, I guess it's Mad Lib time, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So, first one is person in room.
We didn't say what the story title was.
Oh, cutting edge technology. I was gonna do it after I got the words.
Okay, fine.
Yes. Person in room.
Amanda. Jeremy.
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 Jeremy. Okay.
Change it to Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Okay.
Number.
1,297. Jeremy.
Jeremy. Plural part of the body.
Tits. On Jeremy.
TNA. A place.
That shady gas station at the edge of town where Terry got stabbed. Where Jeremy got stabbed.
There we go. Okay.
Everything is Jeremy now.
Everything's Jeremy. We're all Jeremy. We are collectively Jeremy.
Okay.
Adjective.
Oh, repulsive.
Also known as a Jeremy. Part of the body.
Anus.
That's definitely a Jeremy. Person, room.
Me.
Noun.
Last week's leftovers.
Plural noun.
Mops.
Other plural noun.
Your last pair of pants. Or pantaloons.
Pantaloons. There we go. Pantaloons. Number.
12.
Plural noun.
Ramen noodle packs. Or if I'm 5-year-old me, ramen noodle packs.
Right.
I used to call it ramen.
Okay. I'm going to pronounce it that way when I read the story.
Ramen noodles!
Article of clothing.
Dirty socks.
Verb.
Projectile vomit.
Extra style.
Mm-hmm.
Other verb.
Panic. Because it was in the story.
And the disco.
Excuse me.
Color.
Cyan. That Amanda can't spell.
Apparently not. I could spell like 4 other words before I could figure out how to fucking spell cyan. Okay. Okay. So presenting cutting edge technology. This week only, Jeremy's Discount Tech is holding a 1,297% off sale. Get your tits on the coolest gadgets of the 1990s. Discman. Don't get caught. Don't get caught walking around that shady gas station at the edge of town where Jeremy got stabbed without this repulsive portable CD player. Batteries and ATIS phones not included. Mobile phone. Now you can gossip with me without being plugged into last week's leftovers. Floppy mops. So, floppy mops. Save all your last pairs of pantaloons on these storage disks that hold up to 12 megabytes. Pagers. Stay connected to family and ramen noodle packs. With communicators you can clip on your dirty socks. Sony projectile vomit station. Panic your favorite video games on this console that'll turn your friend cyan with envy. The end.
Oh my God.
If your friend's turning cyan, I think they're dying.
If your friend is turning cyan, call the goddamn ambulance, okay? They're dying.
They're asphyxiating currently.
Yeah, there's no oxygen going to their brain, okay? Just a public service announcement. Your face ain't supposed to be cyan, okay? Just saying. This is not the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory little girl that turns into a blueberry and floats away, okay? They're going to die. They're not going to float away. They're going to die. Just, PSA. And then floppy mops only holding 12 megabytes is tracks. That tracks.
I mean, floppy mops was so perfect. So
yes, it really was. Alliteration. We love alliteration here. It's very fun. Yes. Floppy mops.
Shady gas station, the edge of tower.
Get your tits on the coolest gifts of the 90s.
I just imagine some person just like flopping their tits like on the shelf where the thing is. Like claiming it as their own, like marking it as their territory.
That has to be a real. Get your hits on the latest gadgets of the 90s.
And the fact that the Mad Lib was cutting edge technology, and we've had such trouble with technology trying to do this episode.
Yeah.
Also
it's been
perfect.
like we've been back to the fucking 90s with this damn technology we got. Ugh, so stupid. It's so stupid.
Okay.
Okay.
So what is the topic at hand?
Topic at hand is delayed emotional response. God damn it! Fuck off, yawns. I'm so over it.
It's like the opposite of performance anxiety. It's where you're just so chill.
Performance sleep. Just performance sleep. Performance lack of oxygen.
Performance asphyxiation. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, this is stupid. I can't anymore.
This is why I didn't want to wait too long to record. It's only like 8:30, but we're acting like we're loopy at midnight.
I know. It's like we've been up for 14, 15, 16, 27 hours straight. It doesn't all the same anymore when you're old. It's all the same. A 10-hour day is like a 24-hour day of no sleep. It's because we're old.
It's about that time.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So there's a post like you that inspired this here episode. And it's from the creator on Facebook, Neurodivergent Lou, like Lou, like probably Louise or something like that. She's got about 6,000 followers on Facebook. Go find her, follow, like her page. It's very nice over there. She has the best graphics and the best explanations for things. So shout out to Neurodivergent Lou. We're digging your stuff. And I found this and sent it to Amanda in our Facebook Messenger chat, with the place where we want to like not forget things we want to talk about. So have you read through this, Amanda?
I skimmed it, basically just about how we can have like emotionally processing, how we can it might take weeks or days or whatever we might not feel something at the moment, but then it can just hit us all of a sudden later.
Right.
Yeah, I did skim through it earlier.
Yeah. So I'm not going to read every single slide off of here because, again, y'all can read, but I am going to link it in the show notes. If you want to hop over to the show notes and follow along with this graphic as we're flipping through it and kind of touching on points from each of these slides, go for it. The link will be in the show notes. But some of the big things, some of the takeaways for me with this delayed emotional response, like she said, it could take weeks, days, months, or even years for someone with autism to process, or an autistic person, I'm still trying to change how I say that, an autistic person to process an emotion. And then a lot of this has to do with kind of how we process information in general. From what I understand, a lot of things are taken very literally. And it said, one of the slides, it says that because of like external stimuli, it's much like many other things, it could block us from being able to give that emotion our full attention and our full brain power because we're so overwhelmed with just everyday life stressors that we don't have the brain power to devote to processing emotion, which makes a lot of sense to me. And I think throughout my life, I've seen this play out quite a bit. I mean, I mentioned this last weekend when I said my face was broken, remember? Because I was crying so much, but I told you, like, I never used to be able, like, I could turn it off. I could completely shut it down because I did not want to deal with processing how I felt about anything, good, bad, or indifferent. So if I felt like I was going to cry, I'd like trained myself to turn it off. And so this one says, sometimes masking may contribute to the experiences that autistic people have with emotional processing. We may grow up being told that our emotions are too much, or learn that we aren't responding appropriately in line with neurotypical norms. As a result, we may mask our emotions and how we respond to situations. This sometimes means that we condition ourselves to not properly process our emotions, and that it makes a lot of sense to me now. It's like one of those things where, like, kind of going down these rabbit holes and understanding more about autism and ADHD and all these different neurodivergent things, I'm learning that so much of the shit that I went through in my life, it was wrapped in this undiagnosed autism. And now when I read about these things, I'm like, oh, that makes sense why I behaved like that for all those years, because I was trying to mask having to, because I was told a lot, I'm too much, or I'm too emotional, I'm too sensitive when I was little. So that was part of it. I learned to quit being sensitive because I was told all the time that it wasn't appropriate. So after a while, if it's not appropriate, I'm going to stop. So, I mean, that's the first part of it for me. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, yeah, I could probably count on one hand, like the amount of times I've seen you cry, like the entire time I've known you. And so, and like, not that's necessarily a bad thing. It just, because like when you said that you used to be able to turn it off, like that makes a lot of sense because, but you actually kind of like tapping into those emotions more often now. And so it's like, I've known you since we were, 15, 14, 15. So it's like, I can count the amount of times I've seen you cry on one hand.
Yeah.
Like I don't even need a whole hand.
Yeah. It's very few. And
yes.
one of those times was probably this last weekend at Scott's wedding. I cried a bazillion times all day long.
And to be fair, I did not physically see you cry. Like I remember being told later that you cried, but I did not like actually, because I couldn't see you from where I was sitting.
Well, I cried in the lounge. Remember when we were talking in the lounge? I cried a little bit in the lounge.
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah, I cried in the lounge, but I cried more that day than I had in a long time. Just because I wasn't even sad for the wedding part. It was just happy tears, but my face, I can't mask it anymore. I've gotten to the point where like it used to be that I could mask it completely and I just wouldn't emote at all. And I could turn the tears off, like literally turn them off. Now I can't control them because I think I spent so much time shutting all of that down and not allowing myself to emote that once I kind of went through all the shit I went through in 2020 and kind of broke a lot of things down and started processing a lot of trauma and been deep into therapy and all the things I did, I can no longer hide the emotions. They just are there. And it's not that it's uncontrollable. It's that I don't have a desire to hide my emotions anymore because it didn't feel nice to have to force myself to be numb to things all the time. And it's kind of scary that I was able to do that because it's not fucking normal. Like a human is supposed to emote. Like if you're sad, you're supposed to cry. And I wouldn't because I trained myself not to. Like that's how fucking serious it was. But now I can't not cry. So like if I'm sad, the tears are going to flow. My face is broken. If I'm happy, the tears are going to flow. Like my face is broken now. It just does whatever it wants. So
like yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, yesterday. We'll get into that story in a minute. Let's keep going through this first. Do you have, let's stay on this topic, masking your emotions away. Do you feel like that's happened to you at all throughout your life?
And see, this is where I kind of feel like I'm a strange dichotomy of where I feel like I do cry a lot. It sometimes just hits me all of a sudden. Like I went to church with Scott and like Zach and Granger. I went to church with them on Sunday because they were having like kind of like a reception. The church was having a reception in Marion for them for their wedding. And so they're like, oh, do you want to go to like the service with us and go? I was like, sure. And then everything was fine, happy. And then they were off like talking to people. Like I didn't know anyone else besides, them. And so I just was kind of sitting and all of a sudden I just started crying. Like I had to immediately get up and go find I went to like the sanctuary of the church to go find a tissue to try to stop myself from crying because it just hit me. I don't know why. But then also a lot of times like people that I work with, like before like they get to know me, they think they're like that they can't imagine me crying. They're like, oh, you seem like you just always, they wouldn't say these words, but basically, oh, you always seem like you have a mask on. Like you just don't, you just seem like not emotionless, but you know what I mean? But, like,
apathetic.
You just seem like, you just seem like very monotone in your emotions. Like I've had multiple coworkers like saying, I can't imagine you crying. And I tell them, I cry all the time.
Right.
Like I cried more writing the speech for Scott's wedding and thinking of it after the fact. And then I choked up once, but yeah, I've always been called overly emotional, very sensitive, like my whole life. Like, not that I really had people that told me to like not. I mean, I've told people like, how people tell me I'm too sensitive, but it's like I have like this dichotomy of where I am overly emotional. I cry at the drop of a hat, but it is also like I can steel myself to like not like feel something
Yeah.
and then hit me later. And so I feel like I'm kind of like I'm on just way two sides of the spectrum. Like I don't have a good middle ground.
Yeah.
That's my experience.
So like that about that little story where you're in the church, I think it's the third slide on this
Hmm.
post. It says one part of this can involve experiencing an emotion but not knowing what specifically has caused the emotion, or even not knowing what exactly the emotion is.
Hmm.
So in that case, it wouldn't be that you didn't know what the emotion was. You were sad. It's that you don't even know why you're sad. Like you're just sad.
Right.
You don't know why. Yeah.
It's like, why the fuck am I sad? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And it says, in those moments, you might actually be processing a feeling from a situation that happened a long time ago that you just never properly processed. And then something in that situation triggered your emotional body to just release it in that moment, which is pretty much what fucking happened to me last night, which we'll
In
get
short,
into.
in short, brains are mean.
Yeah, in short, brains are mean. And your body keeps the score. If you guys have never heard of that book or never read it, it's difficult. Like it should just be, the title should be trigger warning is what it should be. But it's incredibly informative. But it's true. All of it, every bit of it is fucking true. Your body does keep the score. It remembers things you don't. And I will tell that story to prove that point here pretty soon. But I do want to kind of touch on something else here. Where is it? Okay, this part. It says we may bring up how we feel a while after the situation happened and be accused of bringing up things which have happened in the past, even though this is because we're only now processing this stuff. I have been through this with many a folk in my life where I'm such a delayed processor a lot of times with emotions that I'll want to revisit an issue sometimes years later with somebody, like especially things with my mom. I want to revisit something with her, not because I want to dig up the past, even though that's a lot of times what she thinks and what other people think. It's because I've come to some new realization or I've processed some part of it that maybe I didn't process before. I want to tell that person that I had the issue with or the situation with that I've now processed more of it and I have more to input on this situation. And I feel like a lot of times they do like view it as, oh, you're just trying to drudge up the past. Like, why can't you just let it go? Well, it's not about letting it go. I can't let something go that I've never processed. And I have no
I haven't even grabbed
choice.
onto it yet.
Right.
Like,
I
I
haven't
haven't
even
even
grabbed
grabbed onto
onto
it
it
yet.
yet. Like I haven't even held on to it yet long enough to let it go. Like I'm trying to tell you that I've now thought this through and I've thought more about it. And I now have something either new to say about it or something to say about it, period, that I didn't have before. And to me, it's not over. To me, it's the situation is not over because I haven't yet processed it. But to somebody else, it can be like, that was fucking 5 years ago. Like, why are you even thinking about that? I don't know, because I don't have a goddamn choice. Like, I'm not doing this by fucking choice. It's just fucking happening to me. Like, my brain said, you're processing it now, and hit the button, and now we're fucking slammed back 5 years and have to deal with some shit that happened fucking 5 years ago all over again.
It's also kind of like a mixture of like also two neurodivergent traits, which I kind of shared with you earlier, of needing to verbally process something, meaning you
Uh-huh.
need to talk it out, and also two, like where you practice conversations in your head, like, okay, well, I need to talk to this person about this subject, but I need to like rehearse it first in my head so I
Scripts.
know
Yep.
how so I know how it's gonna go. Like that's another way to process something is just
Yep.
saying it over and over again. Like I have imaginary conversations in my head all the time. Like even ones that will never happen, but it's
Yep.
like ones that like if they were to happen, I have it processed and I have an answer ready for you.
Yeah. I mean, I will revisit situations and arguments and things in my head over and over again, like from
I make
12,
myself cry.
15.
I
Yeah, I
make
make
myself
myself
cry thinking
cry.
about it. Yeah.
well, I won't make myself cry. I'll like get mad, or I'm like, oh shit, I should have fucking said that, or like, why didn't I think about that in the moment? And a lot of it goes back to that, what I had said before. It says autistic people have a tendency to process information in a logical way, focusing on the details rather than the bigger picture. This can lead to delayed processing of emotions. So when you're so focused on what's actually happening in the moment, it's harder to read between the lines of why the situation is happening. You're focusing on what is happening, not why it's happening. And so that could get in the way of you being able to see the bigger picture behind the situation that's happening. Therefore, you can't fully process what's actually happening because you're so focused on, like, he's yelling at me right now about this thing that I don't understand why he's mad at me about this thing. It doesn't make any sense. You're not understanding that maybe this is something that's built up for a long time, and then now, you know what I mean? Like, you're just so focused on the fact that it's happening right now that you can't see like what might have led up to it or how you might have got there. There's no like retrospection or introspection happening when you're in that logical part of your brain. So it's similar to meltdowns and things. Like when you're having a meltdown and you're in that emotional part of your brain, the way you can help someone who's having a meltdown, if they're even the slightest bit responsive, is by sensory input, getting them back into the logical part of the brain, help them think about something. I always make my kids count something they can see, or count to 5, or touch, what part of the body am I touching right now? Make them deal with the actual present, a physical sensation or something. Make them use that frontal lobe, that part of their brain that processes like information and facts, so that they can get out of their emotional brain and into their logical brain. And that helps to calm them down. So it's a similar thing, but in the opposite direction. If you're in your logical brain, you can't focus on the emotional shit, and therefore you won't process it very well. So.
Well, it kind of reminds me, like, when Scott and I had that argument a few months ago, he was upset after the fact because he wanted to talk about it right then and there. I did not. I was like, because I had messaged him the next day or the day after, I can't remember, about our argument. And it wasn't even like really an argument. He had gotten mad at something, and I was confused with why he was mad. I'm like, I don't understand why you're mad. But it made me cry because I felt like I disappointed him in him being mad. And so, and then he was like, I wanted to discuss it right then and there. I hated that you were just silent the rest of the night. I'm like, I understand that, but I could not basically, process the word of the day. I could not process what was going on and like what our quote unquote argument was about at the time. Like, I needed at least 24 hours to like think about it. I literally wrote down my thoughts on a post-it note and had him come over to my house the next day or the day after, and we had like a few hour conversation. But if I had done that, one, because Zach and Granger were there, and I knew I didn't want to, have a full-blown meltdown crying fest in front of them. Not that they would, I think, overly care, but I just didn't want to do that in front of them. But it's also like, everything was too raw. Like, I can't just go right into the emotional shit right then and there when I'm at my most heated and where I need time to process this. So that's why we were just kind of like on different wavelengths at that point.
Yeah, it's difficult when you have two different kinds of processors in a relationship. My husband is very much deal with it right fucking now. Right now. Like, if there's a problem, talk about it. Like last night when I was fucking hysterically crying, he wanted to know right now what was wrong. And I'm like, I can't answer you right now. Leave me alone. Like, I need to I don't even know why I'm doing this. I can't talk to you while I'm hysterical. Stop asking me questions. Do you know what I mean? Like, God bless him. He was trying. He really was. He was trying to be there for me, and he did a great job, and I appreciated it. But like, he wants to fix it right now. And I'm like,
That's my
I
mom.
can't. Like,
That's
I
my
can't.
mom, for
I need
sure.
you to leave me alone long enough to figure it out. Like, leave me alone. Let me figure it out. And then we will talk about it. Like, I still haven't really told him the full story yet because I'm still sort of processing it even today, everything that happened and why I feel like it happened. But we are going to talk about it tonight before we go to bed because I'll have to. Like, once I have it all fucking processed, then I turn into that person that's like, I need to tell you right now. Like right now, I need to tell you right now. Because I'm ready to get all of that off my chest and be able to move on from it. And B, because I'm a verbal processor, right? So I want to process it out loud and talk to you about it. And B, because if I don't, I'm going to forget. So like, once I have it all fucking in my brain how I want to say it, I got to say it right then, or I'm not going to say it how I wanted to say it. So it's a lot to have to deal with this. Like, there's so many things that go hand in hand with your emotional processing, and things that you wouldn't even think of that are affected by this, and like how this dysregulation and the delayed processing can just kind of show up and fuck up your life out of nowhere, like you in church and me yesterday. And like it just kind of pops up, and you really don't have any control over it, like, whatsoever. Do you have anything else to add to that? If not, I'll jump into my story.
No, I think we pretty much covered what I had to say in regards to that.
I mean, do you feel like you, so you, I mean, obviously you pretty much said like you need time to process how you feel about shit. Like you need time to kind of work through it before you can have a discussion about it.
Well, it's kind of like, I'm not, as you know, like, I'm not good at improv, save for interviews or something. Then like Scott has like offered, like, anytime I need an interview, he's like, oh, I'll role play with you. I'm like, no, I can't. That's too cringy and I can't do it. Different managers have told, like, even the one I have currently, she seems to understand me a lot, like, understand me really well. But even she goes, she went at one point, she's like, does that sound good? I can't tell. She's like, you never really display your emotions and what you're saying, or like what you're feeling. I'm like, oh yeah, no, it sounds great to me. She's like, okay, I couldn't tell. I'm like, I was like, she's like, you have such a poker face. I'm like, I know, it years of practice. So
Yeah.
and so it's like, I was like, I will tell you, and then I will be back in her office an hour later to tell her how I really felt about what we discussed. Because after I fully process everything, and I'll be like, sorry, I'm just slow. I need to time. You can't just ask me questions and have me have like an immediate response. Like, I have to like think about it. That's why I look so stoic whenever people talk to me. It's also like the whole, like you said, being called overly emotional all my life. It's like I have tried to like not wear my heart on my sleeve,
Right.
like, so to speak. Not to
You've
have
trained
that
yourself to just kind of be stoic.
Yeah, because I've had people, like, I'm even right now looking at the pictures Scott posted of the wedding so far, and it's like, man, I look like a bitch in some of these. Like, even though I'm obviously happy for them, I'm clapping,
Yeah.
but it's like, man, I look like I'm not having a good time. So
Yeah, it's just that
it's
that
like,
is my
Scott. And
face
then
a lot too.
There's one picture where we're all sitting in the lounge, and
Yes.
me and you just look absolutely done. It's like, spot
Yeah.
the two neurodivergent people in this picture. Can you
For
spot them?
real. For real. Like, for real. We need to post that. We should post that picture on the page and be like, can you tell which two we are? Just by our fucking faces. Another thing on here too, kind of touches on what you talked about with the church thing, but it mentions specifically feeling guilty for not feeling an emotion immediately after an event, such as if a family member passes away. Instead, the grief may not hit us until much later. So like, this happens a lot for me when we talk about people passing away. My husband has lost both of his parents, and just recently in February, his dad passed. I got sad for him like a week after the funeral. And the funeral was like a couple weeks after we found out he passed away. I don't know what it is about death, but for me, with death, I just go straight to the logical immediately. Like, immediately. I go straight to the logical with that situation and immediately try to rationalize the immense grief away with logic. So now I'm realizing that's incredibly autistic of me. So like, it's trying to push the emotion away with the logic, right? So we process the massive situation that might be emotionally damaging with logic first, so we can then meter how emotionally damaging the situation is going to be. When someone's family member has passed away, I always feel so nervous when I get that information, because I'm not going to be able to say anything to you other than, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I feel like that's such a default and shitty response. But like, I have, first of all, not good at improv, right? I am not the person to like console you in situations like that because I'm not good at improv and I can't access emotions immediately. I can't. Like, I just can't. So I'm just not good with death in that way. I mean, how are you with that? Like, do you feel like you process death differently? Am I the only weirdo that like immediately goes to logic before processing the emotional part of that?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. Like, I haven't been able to really voice this properly, but it's like, basically, it's almost like I have a block to where I feel like if I try to go through the motions of like social normativity of consoling a person, like, the social norm of like, oh, I'm so sorry, let me give you a hug, all that. It's
right.
like it's not like it's like a block, but it's also like it feels cringy. Like I feel like
Yes.
I'm faking it. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing. Like I feel like they can tell I'm faking it. And it feels like I'm putting on an act, even though I genuinely feel bad. Like I feel bad for them because I'm an empathetic person. But it's also like this feels awkward to say and do at the
Right.
current moment, but I'm pretending. And I know I sound awkward and look awkward when someone needs consoling. Like it's like I genuinely feel for you, but you can't have me act it. Like
Right.
it ain't gonna work. So it's like I
Yeah,
have a
I
block,
agree.
and it just makes it awkward and cringy when people need me to like emote. But I'll cry at the drop of a hat. Like if you start crying, I will cry with you. But like you can't have me console you any other way.
Yeah, same.
It's really weird. It's
Yeah,
just really
same.
weird.
I'm an empathetic crier though. And see, it's so weird because I am an empathetic crier. I am. But
Like anytime Granger cried at the wedding, I cried. Like
yes,
I didn't
same.
cry at the wedding until Granger cried, and I'm like, no, I can't look at Granger
Yes.
or I'll cry.
I mean, I didn't start crying until I saw, like, I don't remember who it was that was crying when everything first started, but I saw one rando person wipe their tears, and I was like, oh no! It just started
Oh shit!
flying out of my face. So, and then as soon
I'm
as
an
it happened, I
autistic
was like, we're done.
mockingbird. I can't help it.
Yes,
It's like we're
done.
autistic parrots. Autistic parrots. Like we.
Yep, autistic parrots.
Oh
We
man.
parrot the emotions of others. So
Yep.
yeah. Okay, one more yawn and then story time. Ready? Here we go. Oh Jesus. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I guess it's time for story time. So it definitely tracks with everything. All this tracks with everything that happened yesterday. And I didn't actually like pick this topic because of what happened yesterday. We picked this topic several days ago. And then everything happened yesterday. So this little one on the damn show with me was in cahoots with Scott and Zach. Very cleverly got my favorite songs out of me in a very clever way. She almost made it seem like it was like for the podcast or something, like some post she was going to do or something. So I was like, okay. So I told her what my favorite songs were, like some of my favorite ones that are like never quit listening. Or what did you say? I don't remember what you said. It was like some specific thing,
yeah.
not like your favorite songs, but like songs that like bring up
or one you can listen to over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. And like never get tired of or whatever. And so I told her some. And then yesterday I get home and I'm like, what is this little box? I don't remember ordering anything. I thought we got everything we ordered from Amazon. And I open it up and it's a music box. And I open the lid, like they're like, there's a box inside of a box inside of another box, right? So I opened the lid to the box that the music box is in. And on the lid has a message from Scott and Zach. And I was like, oh, this bitch. She done set me up so that they could get me a present. So my first thought was like, fuck you, Amanda. I don't like surprises, first of all. Second of all, this is so sweet, right? First thought was fuck you, Amanda. Second thought was this is very sweet, right? So I open this box, and at first, when I open the lid, it has my name on the lid, but it doesn't like, it's not making any noise. So I'm thinking, oh, let me just pull this paper out. And it's like one you can load your own songs onto, which I thought was really cool. And what I didn't realize was there was songs already loaded on it until I took it in my bedroom, because I remember reading something about like the sensor like reacts to light or whatever, and when the light hits the sensor it starts playing. So I took it in my bedroom where it was a little bit brighter, and I flipped the top open and it starts playing Blind Melon's No Rain, which is a song that it's like a core memory song for me, because I remember when I was very little and music videos were still on television. MTV actually had music videos at this point. We had this old ass TV that was wrapped in a wooden box. Do you remember them TVs? The big ass tube TVs with the wooden boxes and the dials. It had we didn't even have a fucking remote. It had a dial on that motherfucker. Okay, this was an old ass TV. And this music video, my mom would put the music videos on Saturday mornings when she would clean. And so it was either VH1 or MTV, one of the two. And I remember this music video had this little girl, and she had this short Shirley Temple curly hair. And I remember thinking, and this is going to sound rude, but it's not rude, because she was kind of heavy set, because I was a heavy set little kid. So she was kind of a heavy set little girl, and she looked like me with curly hair. So I remember her because she looked like me with curly hair. And she dresses up in a little bumblebee suit in this music video and will dance around in the music video in her bumblebee costume. Well, I had a bumblebee costume. So every time this music video would come on, I'd run to my room and I'd grab my bumblebee costume. I'd hurry up and put it on, and I'd go out in the living room and I'd dance to the music video in my bumblebee costume like the little girl on the TV. So that is a core memory tied to that song. And to this day, I still listen to this song over and over again and have never gotten tired of it. And I'm pretty sure will you Google when this song came out? Because I don't remember how old I was, but I was young, very young.
So the year was 1992.
That the song came out.
Yes.
Right. So
yeah.
I would have been probably 6 or 7, however old you are when you're in first grade.
Yeah.
Because I moved to Rockdale in first grade, and that was in our Rockdale house. So I probably it had been out for a few years at that point. But that's about the time that I would have been doing all of that little bumblebee costume stuff. So that's core memory for me. Aminder, do you want to add your side of the story to that before I go any further?
Yes. So Scott had messaged me. He asked, I have an idea about what I want to do for Nikki. Do you know what her favorite song is? I said, I don't, but I can ask in a sly way, LOL, like make it seem I'm asking for the podcast or something. He goes, that works. I'm thinking about getting her a music box, and you can put custom music on them now. I say, okay, gotcha. I'll let you know. So I immediately messaged you, and I was like, random question, but it came up in a post. What's your favorite song? Like, do you have one currently or one you've loved forever? Post was about neurodivergence liking familiar things, and my music taste hasn't changed much. And you're like, oh my god, yes, Blind Melons say song No Rain, among several others. I was like, oh, I love that song. And then I made it seem like I was just following up on the question, like, I don't know if I have any favorites. And you're like, I was like, okay, and my music taste hasn't really changed, but, and then I took a screenshot of what you said and sent it to Scott, and he goes, you're the best. I'm like, welcome.
Yeah, and then I proceeded to rattle off like 6 more.
Yes. Well, it's like, well, that was the first one he said, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah. I
didn't know he was adding the no call one. I just knew about the Blind Melon one, but
yeah. So that's the second part of the story. So the second song on this music box, which I didn't expect there to be more than one song. Usually a music box only plays one song. So, and it just plays it over and over again. I was already crying a little bit because of how sweet the gift was. Okay, we'll just start there. But then I hear the next song, and I am uncontrollably sobbing. Like, I can't stop crying. I was like, I know this song. Something about this song is important, or I wouldn't be crying this hard. But I couldn't remember what the song was from. So I started Googling it. And then I was like, oh, it was in the Chronicles of Narnia. And I'm like, did we watch that movie together? Trying to think. Like, but the song kept, like, it was so, my emotional body knew that song meant something. And I couldn't remember what that song meant. And so I reached out to Amanda and I was like, the second song, like it's got to be linked to some core memory or something because I can't stop crying. Like I literally cannot get it out of my head now. Like I closed the music box halfway through the song because I couldn't finish it. And I was like, I can't get it out of my head. What is this from? And you were like, oh, it's from the night that he left for night before he left for Costa Rica. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. Like, that's it. And why it was so special to me was because I lost quite a bit of time due to trauma in my life from around 2008, 2009 till about 2011 or 12. So it's about four years of my life that were really fucking chaotic. And I lost a lot of memories, and it didn't discriminate from just the bad ones. It was all of them. Like I don't remember a straight 4 years of my life. And when you said that, it brought back a bit of that memory from that night. And then I started crying even more because I remember being sad that he was leaving, but I don't remember crying that much about being, you know what I mean? Like I was at the time where I probably wouldn't have cried that much. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
Right.
why is this making me cry so bad? Like I was sad. It was a sad memory, but, and then I'm thinking, am I crying because it's something because I forgot it and I'm upset that I forgot that memory? And then I'm thinking, well, am I crying because I'm just now remembering that I lost all that time, that I don't remember my life from 2008 to 2012? Like, is that why I'm crying? And then I started to realize, like, because I asked him, I was like, what year was that? I put it in the group chat, what year was that? And he said 2010. And then that's what made me like remember that I forgot all of that time. And then you started sending a bunch of pictures that you found. I barely have a shred of a memory from our movie marathon, our Star Wars movie marathon. I remember very, very little of it. A lot of those other pictures, I don't remember at all. And even the ones I'm in, I don't remember. And it scared me a little bit and made me sad because that's what trauma does to you. And I didn't realize like how traumatic that 4 years was for me until this moment when I remembered that I forgot all that. And I think it was just my body finally releasing all of the unprocessed shit from 4 years of my life being insane and chaotic. So I think that's what happened because so much happened during that time. And you remember, I'm sure you remember that time well. Like there was a lot happening. I lived with you for a while during that time, you and your mom, like there was a lot happening. So I think it was just one of those points in my life where there was so much happening that I pushed it all back to the farthest depths of my brain and boxed it all up and just didn't ever plan to like dig through it again. Like my brain literally made me forget that it was even a thing. And music is very special to me because music, if I can tie music to a memory, I'll keep it. I'll keep the memory. And even if it fades, every time I hear that song, it will remind me of whatever time in my life I was listening to that song or whatever memory is attached to that song. And I don't know that Scott really could have known that. I don't know. It's just was very cosmically perfect how all of it happened that way because music, it was a music box and music is so important to my memory. It is. It's very important to my memory. There's a reason why I have a playlist of all old songs and I have very little new songs because I lose time and I lose memories and I don't remember things well. Even when there's no trauma involved, I don't remember things very well. I have a very shitty short-term memory and I have a spotty long-term memory unless there's something attached to it, especially music. And so I now have a music box from someone who's very special to me in my life that holds a song that brought back a core memory for me and allowed me to process 4 years of lost time. And I told them, and I don't think they're ever really going to understand. And if you're listening to this now, like, I need you to understand how fucking important that is for me, because I am all about trying to process and move on from things. I literally started a podcast all about that. That's what gave this show its jump off, was me going through this journey of like breaking down my life and rebuilding it and figuring out why I am the fucking way I am and why I do the things I do. And for me to have even slivers of memories back to be able to process and work through and move on from, you've given me my life, parts of my life back. You've allowed me to process emotions I've had literally boxed up and shoved in the back of my brain because my brain labeled that as not safe and shut it all down. And you gave me an opportunity to process emotions that I haven't had to deal with in 15 fucking years. So it's more than a music box for me. It's a memory box. And I will never get rid of that. Like, I will keep that. They will have to give that to one of my children in my will. Like, it will never, ever leave my possession. That is such an important gift to me. It's probably one of the most thoughtful and beautiful and important things that I've ever been given by someone. And it's something I will cherish until the day that I die. So I love you both for that. And you little shit, for fucking participating in this.
Oh, boy.
And I'm going to cry again, but like, seriously, I can't properly express how important that music box is to me now, because it gave me a piece of my life back that I was able to process and move on and be free from. Because when you don't process shit, it was in the slides too, like when you have unprocessed emotions you're carrying around and you have unprocessed trauma, it's controlling your life whether you know it is or it isn't. You're still carrying these things around with you. Your body still knows that these things happened even if you don't remember. And every chance that you have to process something and make as much sense of it as you can, or make as much peace with it as you can, and move on from that thing, it helps you become more free. It's not something they could have ever known they were doing for me, but they did. And it's, oh, stop it. You're sending me pictures now. And now I'm going to start crying again.
Those are the pictures from that day. I finally found them.
Oh my goodness. Pause for a nostalgia moment. Oh my God, our Spanish Club sweatshirts. Oh my God, my hair was ugly blonde. Was that in my era of I can do my hair myself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to go back to when I thought I was fat. I can tell you that much.
And I can do your hair, but then turn it orange.
Yeah. That looks good. Someone else must have done my hair there. I didn't, that's for sure. The one with Joel and Zach.
Mm-hmm.
That was Zach's beanie days. Do you remember the beanie days of Zach?
He was very scene kid.
Yes, he was very scene kid for a while. Yeah. So that's that.
And then I felt bad because you're like, I'm just crying. I'm like, I can't stop crying. I'm like, oh no, we broke her.
Yeah, it literally, apparently the call from Regina Spektor unlocked a box of 4 years of suppressed memories that all came out at once. And it's not even that the memories all came back, because they didn't. It's the emotions that all were tied to that time of my life. And for whatever reason, that song unlocked it all. And I was able to like process physically all of those things. But I needed to do that. Like, I needed to get through all of that. It was important that that stuff was processed. And, you know, I'm witchy. We've talked about this. And it's even stranger to me that I received that on a new moon. Mm-hmm. And new moons are all about like manifesting and like releasing old things to make room for new things. Right. And I received a fucking music box that unlocked 4 years of my traumatic ass life that I didn't remember on a new moon. So like, that's all like I'm all about signs. That's all very signs for me. So, but anyway, I'll stop droning on about that. But that was my story. And I cried for over an hour straight. like
Probably
uncontrollably cried.
worrying your husband.
Oh, he was terrified. He's like, this is not a happy cry. You're not okay. What's wrong? Hi, how do I help you? What do you need? Is everything okay? I'm like, I don't even fucking know. I just need a minute. He was like, okay, okay, I'll go deal with the boys. I'm here if you need me. Okay. And God bless him. He was trying so hard, but I didn't even fucking know. Because I told you, I don't remember. I don't know why I'm crying, but I'm hysterically crying. And then I still, even when you told me, oh, it was the night that he left for Costa Rica, I still had to continue to deconstruct that and figure out where the fuck, but why? Like, I was sad, but I wasn't a crier then. So, like, why am I crying this much? This is more than a Costa Rica leaving, like, trip thing. Like, this is bigger than that. There's something much more underneath it. And, luckily, I'm at a place now where I'm allowing myself to just feel those things. And I tried really hard at first to like not cry. I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. I don't want to do this right now. I'm too tired. But my body was like, fuck you, bitch. This has been a long time coming. You're going to cry all of it out right goddamn now for the next hour and a half. And then you're going to wake up tomorrow early in the morning and have eyeballs the size of fucking golf balls puffed out to hell looking like a fucking goldfish because you cried too much last night. And that's exactly what happened. I was like a goddamn goldfish this morning. And I had to go to work like that. So thanks, asshole.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
But anyway, speaking of work in the morning, it's almost 9:30 and I'm geriatric and it's past my bedtime. So unless you have other things to add to this story, I say let's wrap her up.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's it. Pretty good work, everybody. Go team. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Go team.
Go team. Not good at improv, as we stated multiple times. Synergy, all buzzwords.
Signs.
Signs. Emotional.
Signs and symbols.
Processing. The two words of it. Emotional and processing.
Jeremy.
Fucking Jeremy. He deserved what he got.
Fucking Jeremy. That's a real fucking Jeremy.
Fucking Jeremy.
We have to come up with a persona for Jeremy now. Like Jeremy has to become a full-fledged
he wears a wife beater. That's all I got so far.
Okay.
He wears a wife beater.
So far, Jeremy wears a wife beater. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I love it. Well, we're gonna flesh this character out. We are. He's gonna be a full-fledged thing. He's gonna have a whole ass life story by the time we're done with this podcast. He's gonna be a thought form of his own. Might even create him his own goddamn Instagram account. You just wait. We'll see.
Just call it fucking Jeremy.
Fucking Jeremy.
Oh boy.
We're awful. It's fine. Okay. All the podcasty things are in the show notes per usual. If you want to play Spot the Neurodivergence, you can go to our Facebook page where we will have posted a picture of the wedding party and you can guess who's the neurodivergent to in the group. Guess who we are. You'll find us. It's real fucking easy by our faces. There's also an Instagram. It'll probably be over there too, because that's what happens when I post things. It goes to both places because I'm too lazy to do it separately. And technology's great that way. Also, we have a Discord now, which I'm still figuring out how to use, but I check it periodically. So far, nobody's there. Maybe just nobody knows, but it'll be linked too. It's there. Go hop over to the Discord. We have a chat and a memes thing, which I want to figure out how to name that. If the meme fits, share it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that because I think it's funny. Like if the shoe fits, wear it. But if the meme fits, share it. Yeah. Okay. Do that over there. The AI story. If you want to follow along with the AI story, that is also linked. It's a view-only document from Google Docs, so you should be able to view and read along with the AI. The post for this episode that inspired this episode will be there as well. Go follow and like Neurodivergent Lou. Her stuff is amazing. It's very informative. The graphics are very helpful, and I learned a lot from her. So go on and go follow her. Other than that, we will see you next week with maybe one extra brain cell to rub together, or maybe not. We'll see.
I mean, we're working well with two at the moment.
Yeah. Hopefully on our mics next week with fucking internet that works. Jesus Christ! Instead of on our fucking phones like fucking cavemen. Okay, I need a fucking mic and a fucking setup, and I'm on a phone. with some
Like the
cheap
dark
ass.
ages over here.
Yeah, it's the dark ages. Oh my god, fucking headphones that came with my iPhone. Do you know how old these goddamn things are? I don't even know which iPhone they came with. I dug them out of a box somewhere to do
these
this.
Are just $8. These are just $8 headphones from Walmart.
Yeah, so. These are the ones that came with some iPhone of old I've had buried in a box somewhere. So again, we apologize. We should have fucking working equipment next week, hopefully. Cross your fingers. Anyway, that's enough. We love you, and we will see you next week, people.
Okay, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.